I'm Kathy Weppner, and I want to tell you why I'm running for Congress against Brian Higgins in the 26th District, and what I hope we can achieve together. America is the most exceptional country in the world, a shining beacon of freedom never before made possible by a government. Yet on our watch, we are allowing a lazy, self-serving professional politicians and a lazy, complacent media to stain our reputation at home and worldwide and rewrite our history. I'm running because our political process is in a shambles. Our country and our constitutional rights are under serious assault. I'm running because the professional political spinners have it all wrong. They focus on the leader of the free world. Sorry, folks, there is no leader of the free world. There are only leaders of the free world, plural, and it starts with you and your Constitution. Think for a minute about the beauty of our country's name, the United States of America. So why on earth have we allowed professional politicians and their paid consultants to trip over each other, dividing us up into a hyphenated America? We deserve more than professionally crafted emotional sound bites. There are no hyphenated Americans fighting our battles in foxholes. Only Americans. So why are we electing and accepting hyphenated Americans, stooges, to fight our battles in Washington? Here is the truth. About a third of our country is Democrat, a third Republican, and another third independent. These statistics bear out in our families, and as we sit at our Thanksgiving tables, only a small minority on each side hold extremely conservative or extremely liberal views. So what? Can't we listen to one another, have an active exchange of ideas, and realize that that's America? We don't have to take this. We don't have to let them take our country and convert it into an extreme perversion of America. When I announced my campaign last February, I promised to honor your intelligence in a way you had not seen before in local politics. Why? Because I believe that your vote is an honor, and robocalls and slick flyers are an insult. I have no paid staff, no professional staff, no consultants, and no special interest money. My campaign is entirely volunteer, yet somehow we have managed to do something the professionals refuse to do, which is empower your vote with knowledge. I've placed numerous extensive reports on the most important issues to voters on my website for your consideration because I have great faith that when given the opportunity to study the issues that affect Western New York and our country, Western New York voters are up to the task. My reports identify issues and solutions to jobs, the economy, immigration, debt, terrorism, ISIS, and more. The issues I know are important to you. Recently, the Buffalo News described my reports as a pile of papers. Their description bears repeating because they are part of Western New York's problem. Quote, Higgins' opponent laid 2 immaculately manicured hands with 10 long hot pink fingernails out across a pile of papers that foretold doom of one kind or another and spoke like a very worried mother. That pile was my reports to you, laying under my fingernails, because I was in the process of delivering them to the reporter, Jerry Zremski. I thought his job was to interview me and update the public on the issues. Worried? You bet I am. Like most other Americans, we refuse to leave this mess to the next generation. So let me share some unbiased facts taken from my job and economy reports. Facts condescendingly dismissed by the news as hot pink sentiment from a very worried mother. On jobs, the single most important pressing issue facing Americans today is creating full-time jobs that allow you to feed your families and pay your bills. 10 million Americans are officially unemployed. Another 7 million Americans are stuck in part-time jobs but want full-time work. Another 6 million want work but have given up looking. 1 in 6 American prime working age men 25 to 54 have no job and no chance to save for retirement. 44% of new college graduates are underemployed. These statistics should worry all of us. There is no mystery as to why employers are having trouble hiring. The 3 main factors consistently cited in the Chamber of Commerce surveys are 1. Crushing federal regulations, 2. Uncertainty caused by Washington's ever-changing regulations, and 3. Obamacare. 71% of small businesses say the health care law makes it harder to hire. Both politicians, and the media routinely sing the praises of individual proposals without ever reporting on the cumulative impacts on business. You and I know the economy is struggling severely. Now add even more regulations pending or promised by the politicians after this election. New Obamacare regulations in 2016 and 2018, new higher energy costs due to EPA coal and carbon regulations, new immigration reform costs and penalties to employers, new job loss as a result of immigrants taking American jobs, new paid family leave, new minimum wage increase, new full-time daycare proposed. The health of our economy, the ability for you to feed your family and to pay America's debt is controlled by job growth and American work ethic, period. Ambition, hard work, and competition built this country. Americans, independents, Republicans, and traditional Democrats alike believe in controlling their own future. But the extremist Democrats currently in power believe in controlling every aspect of your life, including your wages, your health care, your life choices, even your salt and calorie intake, in order to achieve their political or social agenda, even at the risk of your employment, at the expense to our elderly who built this country with their hard work and perseverance. I propose solutions to job creation, including reforming the tax code for all, lowering corporate tax rates to allow U.S. businesses to compete globally, putting an end to punitive IRS actions both in business and in political prosecutions. And we must restore a 40-hour work week. And due to the expected disproportionate job loss to low-wage earners, we must delay minimum wage increases that hurt the poor the most. Paid family leave and daycare must be delayed until the economy has a chance to truly recover. We must stop every government initiative that creates another disincentive to work. We must remove the excessive regulations that prevent hiring. We must approve the XL pipeline that has been held up for political reasons only, denying good-paying jobs to those who are desperate to work. And for our country's sake, we must stop the current immigration insanity. Let's talk honestly about immigration. The U.S. tried similar reforms before, granting amnesty in 1986 at a time when there were just 5 million here illegally, half of who took advantage of that reform. Just 25 years later, the cry for reform started again because the U.S. has a whole new generation of kids who were brought here illegally by their parents through no fault of their own. So here we go again, and 20 years from now, the cry for reform will appear again. The Senate passed Immigration Bill 744, supported by Mr. Higgins. It does not fix the problem. The Congressional Budget Office report projects that the net inflow of illegal immigrants would only be reduced by 1/3 to 1/2, compared with the projected net inflow under our current laws, which are not enforced. That effect would not be immediate, as it would take several years before DHS could hire the full number of Border Patrol agents called for in the Act. Yes, you heard that right. Only 1/3 to 1/2 of illegal immigration will be stopped. Rather than legislation that works for America and Americans first, Washington is creating immigration laws driven mostly by politicians' desire to win Hispanics and the Hispanic vote. All sides are in on this one, guys. They use emotion to capitalize on Americans' well-developed sense of compassion rather than facts. So let's consider the real impact. There are 28.3 million legal immigrants in our country. They manage to fill out their paperwork and come here to experience the American dream, and we welcome them. There are an estimated 11.7 illegal immigrants who did not. There are 4 million U.S.-born children of illegal immigrants. Clearly, something must be done to address the existing problem of American children with illegal parents. But make no mistake, the Senate bill passed does not prevent a repetition. Absent real new reform that includes enforcement and deportation, we will face the same dilemma again within 2 decades, because many more will cross the border, and a new generation will be born here. Mr. Obama isn't deporting the aliens here now, even criminals. The U.S. just ordered green card stock for 34 million green cards, 9 million up front to implement his threatened executive order after this election is over. Illegal criminal immigrants will move to the head of the line, ahead of those who are obeying our laws and filling out the basic paperwork and waiting their turn. I ask, where is the compassion for the American worker? Where is the compassion for the taxpayer who manages to get up every morning and go to work? There are serious American economic realities for taxpayers that are not remedied in either the Senate immigration bill or Obama's bypass of Congress. We are $18 trillion in debt. 45 million Americans live in poverty now. Presently, the majority of immigrants, 56.6%, legal or not, wind up using welfare programs. And this is not just short-term help to adjust to new circumstances. The assistance peaks after 14 years in the United States. The number for all Hispanics with children getting assistance, legal or not, is 71%. 71% is also the rate of illegal aliens overall getting help. The need for assistance is not because these folks don't have good work ethic, not because of ethnicity. The vast majority of immigrant households, 95% of them, work. They're trying. The greatest cause for dependency on public help is the lack of education. They arrived with less than a high school education and the skills needed for U.S. jobs. Jobs are difficult to find for an already difficult job market. Part-time jobs are outpacing full-time jobs. This is just reality. While politicians like to talk about the promises of long-range immigration benefits to the economy, the CBO identified negative impacts on America's employment and wages lasting until 2024 as a result of the Senate law. Here are 4 quotes from the CBO report on Senate Immigration Bill 744 that identified impacts on wages. In sum, relative to current law, enacting S 744 would increase the size of the labor force and employment, increase average wages in 2025 and later years, but decrease them before that, slightly raise the unemployment rate through 2020. You heard that right. This law will increase unemployment for 7 years and decrease average wages for more than a decade. The next quote. The increase in average wage would not occur for a dozen years. The next quote, CBO and JCT expect that a greater number of immigrants with lower skills than higher skills would be added to the workforce, slightly pushing down the average wage for the labor force as a whole, other things being equal. The next quote, however, CBO and JCT expect that currently unauthorized workers who would obtain legal status under Senate Bill 744 would see an increase in their average wages. The bill's effect on revenues, as reported in the cost estimate, incorporates an increase in average wages of 12% for unauthorized workers who attain legal residency. Now let's add to the loss of jobs projected in this immigration law with the projected job loss of the minimum wage increase. The CBO projects 500,000 to 1 million jobs lost to low-wage earners from the minimum wage increase alone. Combined, the effects will be immediately devastating. Our current low-wage American workforce will bear the worst impact of this law, and many will lose their jobs. Why would we do this to hardworking Americans? These politicians are attempting to solve their political problems on the backs of struggling low-wage earners. Folks, in the last 6 years, we have witnessed astounding assaults on our constitutional rights, all coming from Washington. The targeting of nonprofit religious organizations under Obamacare. New restrictive regulations on pastors serving our men and women in our armed forces. The assault on pastors delivering sermons in their churches, complete with new threats of IRS retaliation. The IRS scandal targeting private citizens who are simply guilty of disagreeing with Obama. The IRS scandal targeting private citizens who are simply guilty of disagreeing with Obama administration's policies. The targeting of national journalists who investigate or expose flaws in the administration's policies. A U.S. Senator, Harry Reid, standing on the Senate floor calling out the names of private citizens for their private political donations because Mr. Reid disagrees with them, without any shame for his abuse of power on the Senate floor. A rash of rushed anti-gun laws that serve emotion rather than common logic. A president of the U.S. and a U.S. Attorney General consistently weighing in on local legal cases in defiance of the right to a fair trial. Now the Obama administration is preparing another giant executive order assault on the Constitution, but this one directly impacts your jobs, your wages, and your ability to feed your family. I'm running for Congress to put America first, put an end to this never-ending political charade, forget my long, hot pink fingernails, and focus on the 2 fingers you will use to hold your voting pen. We all owe our ancestors a great debt of gratitude, all of them for their hard work and perseverance through battles, disease, a Great Depression, joblessness, hunger, and civil strife. By comparison, our task is small. Lead the way, pass the torch. God bless you, and may God bless America.